All right, well, fifth grade, we are moving right along here in chapter 11. Uh, yesterday we focused on the metric system. Today we're going to start to get into what we call U.S. customary, United States customary units. United States is one of the only countries in the world that do not use the metric units as a standard form of measurement. And so since we live in the United States, it's important for us to know what those units are. And how to convert them, because that's pretty much what we use: inches, feet, yards, miles. You're going to want to take a screenshot of what I'm focused on. These are the conversions that you need to be aware of. So write it down, take a screenshot, do something while I'm reading through it. Pause it, whatever you need to do. 12 inches equals 1 foot. 3 feet equal 1 yard. 1,760 yards equals 1 mile. 5,280 feet equal 1 mile. Those are the 4 conversion points you're going to need to be aware of for your assignment today. The first set of directions is very similar to what you did yesterday in that you have to convert one unit to another. The rule is going to be the same. When we go from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, the number is going to get bigger, which means we need to multiply. When we go from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, the measurement gets bigger, the number gets smaller, so we divide. So it's going to work the same. Now, this first one, 2 2/3 feet equals blank inches. Well, the first thing we want to do is make sure we understand the conversion, the relationship between feet and inches. And my one here at the top tells me that 12 inches equals 1 foot. All right, so feet and inches, since it takes 12 inches to make 1 foot, that tells me that 1 inch is smaller than 1 foot. So my measurement here is getting smaller, going from feet to inches, which means my number is getting bigger, which means I'm going to multiply. Well, what am I going to multiply by? Well, it says that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I'm going to take this 2 2/3 and I'm going to multiply it by 12. So I'm going to come over here, 2 2/3. I'm going to multiply that by 12. All right. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. I can't forget my rules of multiplying and dividing fractions here. So everything's got to become a fraction. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. It's going to come 8 over 3 times 12 over 1. Well, I can cross-check. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I can do 8 times 4, which is 32. 1 times 1, which is 1. I know that 32 over 1 is 32. So that tells me that 2 2/3 feet equals 32 inches. Well, 6 miles equals blank yards. Well, I wanted to understand the relationship between yards and miles. Here it tells me that 1,760 yards equals 1 mile. So if it takes 1,760 yards to make 1 mile, that tells me that my measurement is getting smaller, because 1 mile is bigger than 1 yard. My measurement is getting smaller, which means my number is getting bigger, so I'm going to multiply. What am I going to multiply by? Well, since it's 1,760 yards to make 1 mile, I'm going to multiply by 1,760. So I'm going to come over here, 1,760 multiplied by 6 miles. So multiplied by 6, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 6 is 36. Put the 6 down, carry the 3, 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 is 45. Put the 5 down, carry the 4. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. I get 10,560 yards. 10,560 yards. 45 inches equals blank feet, blank inches. Well, that's interesting now, because now I'm breaking it up and it tells me that 45 inches is not an equal number of feet. So technically I want to think about going from inches to feet. And since it takes 12 inches to make 1 foot, I'm going to think that the measurement is getting bigger. So the number is getting smaller, which means I'm going to divide. And I'm going to take this 45 and I'm going to divide it by 12. So I'm going to come up here. Let's see here, kind of cramped for space, but that's okay. 45 divided by 12. Well, I know that 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, 12 times 3 is 36, and 12 times 4 is 48. That's too many. So I got to go with 3. 3 times 12 is 36. 45 minus 36, I can't do 5 minus 6, borrow from the 4, make it a 3, make the 5 a 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. I have 9 left over. That means I can make 3 feet, but I have 9 inches left over. That's how I read that. So 45 inches is equivalent to 3 feet, 9 inches. 110 inches equals blank feet. All right, well, so once again, I'm going from inches to feet, which means my measurement is getting bigger, which means my number is getting smaller. So I'm going to divide. And I'm going to take 110 and I'm going to divide it by 12. So I'm coming over here. 110 divided by 12. Well, so I think about my 12 times tables. I know that 12 times 7 equals 84. I know that 12 times 8 equals 96. I know that 12 times 9 equals 108. I'm only going into 110, so 9 is going to be the biggest that I can possibly do. Plus, it has to be a one-digit number. 9 is the biggest you can get. 9 times 12 is 108. 110 minus 108 is 2. So I end up with 9 remainder 2. So now think about this in terms of now, the problem is that they're not asking in the previous example for feet and inches. They just want feet. So in this situation, I've got to actually convert this into a mixed number. Okay? I can think of it as 110 over 12, which is what I did. Remember, a fraction is just a division problem. This is going back to what we've been doing with fractions. Now, I've already done the division, so I've already established that 12 can go into 110 9 times. There's 2 left over. My denominator is 12, so I end up with 9 2/12. I just need to make sure that's in simplest form. Of course, I'm confident with my 9. My 9 is not going to change. 2 over 12, I think they're both divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I end up with 9 1/6. You need to put things like that in simplest form. That's why we put this example on there. Make sure you do it right. Well, last one for this example, 96 yards equals blank feet. Well, I know that 3 feet makes 1 yard. So when I'm going from yards to feet, the measurement is getting smaller because 1 yard is bigger than 1 foot because it takes 3 feet to make 1 yard. The measurement is getting smaller, which means the number's getting bigger, which means I need to multiply. And since 3 feet make 1 yard, it's going to be 96 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Put the 8 down, carry the 1. 3 times 9 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. I get 288. 96 yards is 288 feet. All right, the second part of your assignment today is just a different way of doing the exact same thing. You're comparing using the less than, greater than, or equal to sign. All right? 20 inches equals 1 foot 6 inches. So basically, I need one of these I have to convert into the other. I either need to make this first one into feet and inches or this one into just inches. Honestly, 5th grade, I always find it easier to multiply than divide. So in these examples on this, even though I could do 20 divided by 12, that's not hard to do, I will always multiply. I think personally it's easier to multiply. And so that's the way I'm going to encourage you to do it. So basically I have 1 foot that I need to turn into inches. Well, as I know, 12 inches makes 1 foot. So this 1 foot, I know if I do 1 times 12, that's just 12 inches. So this is 12 inches, plus this 6 inches, 12 plus 6, that gives me a total of 18 inches. Well, 20 inches is bigger than that. So my mouth is going to be open to the 20 inches. 2 miles equals 10,650 feet. Well, to multiply, it's going to be easier to turn miles into feet. So I'm going to multiply. Well, I'm going to multiply by what? Well, my measurement tells me that 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. But I have 2 miles. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do 5,280 times 2, because I have 2 miles. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Put the 6 down, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. I get 10,560. Don't let the flip-flop numbers confuse you. This is a 6 in the 100 spot. This is a 5. So 10,650 feet is greater. All right, 251 inches equals, or not equals, is being compared to 7 yards. Okay, 251 inches being compared to 7 yards. Well, what's interesting is that on our conversion chart, there's no comparison of yards to inches. We go from inches to feet and then feet to yards. Well, I have 7 yards. So really what I want to do in this situation, I'm going to turn the yards into feet. I know that there's 3 feet in a yard. So my 7 yards, I'm going to do 7 times 3, and I'm going to realize, well, 7 yards is 21 feet. But I need to turn that into inches, and my conversion tells me that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So going from feet to inches, the measurement is getting smaller, so the number is going to get bigger. So I'm going to multiply, and since there's 12 inches in 1 foot, I'm going to do 21 times 12. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Put the 0 down. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 1 is 5. Nothing in 2 is 2. I get 252 inches, which is just 1 inch more than the 251 inches that are here. So 7 yards is 1 inch bigger than 251 inches. And sometimes you're going to compare them and you're going to find that they're equal. You just have to do the conversion, figure it out. All right, talk to you later, 5th grade.